put it down first. We're holding it Gimel on the base at the bottom. Let's just get to the sugi we've been discussing. Very interesting. It seems that there were two shiurim of the Amma. An Amma is based on either a 5 tfachim or 6 tfachim. And we said whichever comes l'chumra. We said by Mavoi and by Sukkah, the share was 5. The share was 5 tfachim. And that it'll be a chumra. And by Talayim, it was 6. That was the sheet of Abaya in the name of Rav Nachman. That they're two distinct Amos, one an Amma of 6 tfachim, one an Amma of 5 tfachim. Yes, Ryan.
How does?
Is your hand raised?
Yeah, I couldn't unmute. I'm sorry. How does this play itself out when it comes to measuring in the mikdash, where the nafkamin in the mikdash also is and the tefach?
Yeah. So we said in the Beis HaMikdash there was 3 measuring sticks. We'll get to it. It's Gemara and Pesachim. There's 3 measuring sticks. Whatever came out for the best of Hegdish, that's what we do.
But then what about now?
Today we're going to see in measuring. We're going to see in nafkamina in measuring certain what we do have, whether it's 6 or 5, or we'll see something different. Bez Hashem, we'll see. You'll ask your question a little bit later if you have a question. Okay.
Okay, but when we're measuring now, when we're talking about the ulam and the hechel and so on and so forth, how does that play out, or doesn't it at all? Does it make a difference?
Again, mashma there was 6 amas there. Mashma was 6 amas, but that's no nafkamina in halacha. There's no chumra or kula. The nafkamina is by mavoi. Where if there's nafkamina, right? By the ulam, you have to make it shorter, you don't have to longer. There's no halachic difference. There's just the dimensions that was given to David HaMelech, right? And that was whatever that was.
When we're trying to figure
would
it
be
out.
in halacha by what? By mavoi and by sukkah and kalayim. Okay, so now we have a different shita today, fellas. Today we're going to have a shita of Rava in the name of Rav Nachman. It says machlokes by Rava and Rav Nachman. There is only one measurement of an am, and that's 6 tfachim. However, the 6 tfachim can be measured either sheichakos, they could be loose, or atzevos, they can be tight. In other words, atzevos means like you're sad, when like you're a little sad. So it's 6 tfachim in 1 amma, correct. So now, but there's no such thing as a 5 tefach amma. It's only 6. So what do you mean a larger or a smaller? It means how there are tefach is based upon your finger. I think it's the thumb, as a matter of fact. So you'd have, my thumbs could be very tight together, or very loose together. The Rashba says it's a difference of a hefa etzba in an amma. The difference would be a hef of etzba, hef of a thumb in an amma. That would be the difference. Okay. So according to Abaya, 2 different ones, 5 and 6. According to Rav, no, only 6. But that's 6. In that 6, there's what? There's a looser one and there's a larger one. Okay. So let's see the Gemara inside. No, 5 tefach will be smaller. 5 tefach will be smaller. So says the Gemara, the Rav Mishmei, 2 lines from the bottom. So Rav Mishmei, the Rav Nachman Amar, Kol Amis Ba'ama Bashisho. All Amis are measured, fellas. All Amis are measured. They're measured by using the shita of what? Of 6. Ella halalu shechakos. V'halalu atzevos. Some are shachakos and some are atzevos. It doesn't say which. It doesn't say whether sukkah or mavoi would be shachakos or atzevos. But based upon what we said, we would think that what the kalayim would be shachakos, looser ones, and the sukkah and mavoi would be atzevos. They would be tighter ones. That's what would be. Says the Gemara. Meisive, we're going to ask a question on Abaya. Kol ama shomru chachamim be'ama bashisha. All amas that we're discussing is speaking the share of what? Shisha tefachim. Ubelvad, provided shelo yiyu mechuvanos. They shouldn't be exactly the same. Apparently, this is Rava, guys, right? They're all 6. But they shouldn't be exactly the same. But not 5. So apparently it's a big, right? Bishlema l'Rava, very good according to Rava. Ki heicha de lahavi halalu shechakos, v'halal etzevos. Why shouldn't they be mechuvin the same? So you should have some that are shechakos loose and some that are at Seibas tight. That makes a lot of sense. But however, according to Abaye Kasha, because according to Abaye, fellas, you have 5 and 6. Over here, there's no, right here it says openly, they all should be 6. They should be exact, but not 5. So Amalach Abaye, Ema Amis Kalayim Be'ama Bas Shisha. Oh, okay. Read it as Amis Kalayim. In other words, go back to the Amid Beis. Go back to the Amid Beis, the bottom line. Kol Amis Sha'omru Chachamim Be'amis Kalayim Bas Shisha. He adds one word, Kalayim, and that's a shita. By Sukkah and Mavoi, it's 5. But by Kalayim, it's 6. So you notice he tweaks the statement a little bit, and therefore it works out according to him. By sticking the word Kalayim in, everything would shtim, according to Abaye. Afraid the Gemara, I got a problem with that. But Midiktani Seifa, when it learns in the Seifa of that same brisa, Reb Shimon Gamliel Oiner, Kol Amay Sha'amru Chachamim B'Kalayim B'Ama Bashisha. All Amis, they said, Kalayim is 6. So that's what Reb Shimon Gamliel says. Ubelvad Shlayim Utzitzamayis. Provided they're not what? Tight. Provided they're not tight. Nechal Tanakama, Kol Amis Ka'amar. That he said all Amis, not just by Kalayim, but anything. In other words, he said by Kalayim of Shimon Gamliel. Mashma according to the Tanakama, it's everything. So how can you Abaye say it's only Kalayim according to the Tanakama? It's Mashma everything. So I got a kasha on Abaye. Look at Abaye, it says 6. It doesn't say 5. And you can't go ahead and say that the Tanakama says 5, because if Shimon Gamliel says 6, Mashma Tanakama says in everything, not just Kalayim. So Amalach Abaye, V'lav mi ikav Reb Shimon Gamliel the Koikav say. Again, as I told you yesterday, the last thing an Amoyer wants to do is come out according to only one opinion. They come out according to only one opinion. So having no possible answer, Abaye has to go ahead and say, you're right. I can't come out according to the Tanakama, but I can come out according to Reb Shimon. Because I agree by Kalayim it's 6. And Reb Shimon Gamliel is saying by Kalayim it's 6. So I agree according to him. And the Tanakama is not according to me, because he said 6, and 6 is 6 a little bit low, and 6 a little bit tight, but he doesn't say 5. I come out according by Kalayim, according to Shimon Gamliel. After the Gemara, afraid the Gemara Kasha. Now, Abaye Vade Tanoihi. Like according to Abaye, Vade it's Machlokes Tanoim. LeRava mi lema Tanoihi. According to Rava, are you locked into saying it's a Machlokes Tanoim? In other words, Rav again, what does any Amoyer want to do? He wants to come out l'kuli alma. He wants to come out according to everyone. So therefore, could Abaye have no option? Clearly, Abaye disagrees with the Tanakama. But maybe Rava can come out according to both. Because what did Rava say? 6, some tight, some loose. Okay? So now, Amalach Rava, now, Reb Shimon Gamliel ha'asal ashminan, amis kalayim lo yitzamtzim. In other words, guys, listen, look at me. There are 2 types of 6. There's a loose 6 and there's a tight 6, correct? Where do we apply it to? Doesn't say. We have 3 possibilities, right? We have Mobi, Sukkah, and Klayim. Good? He doesn't say. Says Reb Shimon Gamliel, those that you are discussing, the tight and loose, by Kalayim, it's loose. So he's explaining the words of the Tanakama, meaning, you Tanakama just said it in. Every Amma has 6, some are shchaykais loose, some are at sevas are tight. Says Reb Shimon Gamliel, the Chum said by Kalayim 6 are tight, provided they're not tight by 6. So says Rava, I can come out l'kuli alma. I hold like the Tanakama clearly. There's 2 types, and Reb Shimon Gamliel is explaining the words of the Tanakama. And that the Tanakama said, some are loose and some are tight. I'll tell you where the loose applies to. The loose applies to Kalayim. And therefore, that's according to Rava perfectly. That fits according to Rava perfectly. Let's see it inside. Let's see Rashi inside. Beautiful Rashi, guys. L'Rava mi lemetanoihi. Mi amrinon Reb Shimon Gamliel poligaleha. Do we say that Reb Shimon Gamliel argues on him l'meimar? Amis Kalayim ba'ama ba'shisha. Avol shar amis going sukkah u'mavi ba'ama ba'schanisha. Do we say that he argues over there it's 6, but by sukkah and mavi is 5? No. Dilma Perushi kamafarish Reb Shimon Gamliel l'mosayu d'Rabbanan. Reb Shimon Gamliel is coming to explain the words of the Chachamim. The Amri, what did the Chachamim say? Ubilvat shalayim chavanos. Everything is 6, provided they're not all exactly the same. That's all he said. The yesh mehem shaychakos. There's some that are loose. The yesh mehem atzevos. There's some that are tight. V'lei pirshu ezem mehem shaychakos V'ezim not say voice. But the Tanakama didn't say which is which. He didn't say where the tight goes and where the loose goes. He didn't say that. For us, the EU comes along with Shimon Gamliel, the Perushe, the Hanech, the Kalayim, and the Kalayim Lahavi Shachakos. They should be loose. Kidiktani, so that'll be very, very geschmack and shot. Okay, so right now we're holding, guys. Let's just review what we saw so far the last 2 days. We had Abaya according to Abaya said there's 2 types of amis. There's one of 5 and one of 6. We're going to apply the 5 by Mavoi and Sukkah. We're going to apply the 6 by Kalayim and all the Chumrah. Says Rava, no, there's only 6, no 5. But within the 6 itself, there's a loose one and a tight one. And according to this, the Reb Shimon Gamliel says, provided the loose has to be Kalayim, because that's going to come out Chumrah by giving it the larger share. I just got a problem, says the Gemara. I have a problem fitting this into Reb Shimon Gamliel. Reb Shimon Gamliel said too much. If he was only, according to you, Rava, explaining the Tanakama, why did he have to say the following? The Lema Amis Kalayim Le'etzamtzem. Why didn't Reb Shimon Gamliel simply say La Amis Hamayim Le'etzamtzem? Why did he say Kol Masha Omru Chachamim? What is he eating with that? What is he eating with that? If he's coming to the Tanakama, just say, and Amis Kalayim Le'etzamtzem. Those share that you gave, this one should not be mitzamtzem. But Amis Bashisha. Now, why do you have to say Amis Bashita? You know, why do you have to say that? So my answer is Lamute Mai. What is coming to exclude something? In other words, he is coming to exclude something. What's he coming to exclude? Okay, I'm going to try to get it on the screen. Let me see. I get it on the screen, and it'll work out well. Hang on 1 second, guys. I'm going to go to the Pirish Chai, but I have it. I think it on the screen somewhere. Yeah, sure.
Which number, Rabbi?
Oh, I just have to get this on the screen. It's not downloaded.
Steve, didn't you have a beard yesterday? Am I crazy?
You didn't have a beard on Tuesday.
Yeah, I did. I had to shave it off for a business situation, and I regret it. And I'm going to rewrite those rules.
Truth, you lost a bet?
I lost too many. I don't bet anymore.
Could be worse. You could be like Yiddy.
Okay, I'm having technical difficulty over here. Where is it? It's over here, but I don't know if I can get it on the screen.
Is this an old chart? I would have it.
We are in business.
All right.
Guys, you see? Look at my screen. Okay, it's the 20. Look at 20. Look at 20. The Mizbeach. Yeah, no, picture 20. Okay, guys on Zoom, you can see this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Look, we're going to go up from the bottom. There is what's called the base. That's called the Yisoid. We're going to go up to the Beis Gimel Dalid. Dalid is called the Soivev. Right? We're going to go up to the Dalid. That's called the Soivev. We're going to continue up until the Keren. Now watch. The Aleph is a 6. The Aleph that is outside is a 6, but inside the base is a 5. Right? No, 1 second. He has the opposite. He has the opposite. Okay, I'm going to go.
He has the opposite.
I know. Okay, he has going Aleph up is 5. Is Amish Yisod Gavoy is 5 Tfachim, and then the depth of it is 6. So the base is 6. Gimel going up is 6, and the Dalet going in is going to be a 5. Hey going up is 6, and the Vav, the Keren, is going to be a 5. So that's where it comes in. The L'Mu'ute. What Shita is 6 come to exclude? This is what I was telling Chaim Klagsburn. Over here, the construction of the Mizbeach is not exactly 6, because part of it is going to be 5. Part of it is going to be a 5. And we're going to see, I'm going to keep this on the chart, guys. I'm going to keep it over here, and we're going to see it inside and we'll see how it fits inside on the letters. Okay, we're going to see how it fits. What? Base. I don't. You know what? I don't know where you got that base from. It doesn't forget how he drew it. You know.
Right. If you switched Aleph and base, it would be consistent. Every up would be 6 amas, and every in would be 5.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. I don't know.
Is the base the horizontal measurement?
You have the art scroll. Let me have the art scroll. See what he did there. Yeah.
Laser, is the base and the dalet the side, the horizontal measurement?
That's the depth of like a step. No, he has it right. That's 5. That's 6. Okay, that's it.
Right.
You look at art scroll. He has it on page 482.
I believe would have corrected.
Right. And the Karen, Rabbi, is 5 and 5. It's
Karen's
5
5 and
both
5.
ways.
Okay, so watch. Let's do it inside, guys. Okay, here's the pshat in the Gemara. Here, guys, here's the pshat in the Gemara. The pshat in the Gemara is the following. When Rava said, and Reb Shimon Gamliel, when he said that it's coming to go ahead and have 6, and why'd you mention 6 if it's explaining the Tanakama and you simply wanted to say that the 6 is loose? It's 6, of course, exclude 5. Where do you find 5? You find it in the Mizbeach. And here we're going to see inside the pasuk how we fit it in. Says the Gemara. The following. Says the Gemara. Amas yisoid v'amas sovev dichsev ve'ela midos hamizbeach v'amos ama v'toifach v'cheik. Toifach is an extra tefach v'cheik a base ama v'ama roichiv v'gevul al svas asaviv zera ha'echad v'zeh gav hamizbeach. Now let's go over the pasuk. Cheik ha'ama zeh yisoid. So the cheik ha'ama, guys, that is the yisoid. Here it is. The cheik ha'ama, that's the yisoid. That's the aleph. The cheik ha'ama, that's the yisoid. Va'ama rachav zeh soivev. That's over here. The soivev, that's the dalit that goes around. Ugvul al svas asaviv. Ela kronos. That's the kronos in the top. V'zeh gav hamizbeach zeh mizbeach hazav. So Rashi brings an explanation that Aleph is 5 going up. So right there you have your answer, guys. As soon as you introduce a 5, that's excluding what we just said before. That's all 6. So the Aleph's a 5. The base, the depth of the Soivev is 6. The height now of the Mizbeach that's 6 Tvachim. The Dalit is a 5. The Hay is a 6. And the Keren is a 5. And that's the Shita that we're coming to exclude. That's Shita, by saying 6, that's the one we are coming to exclude. Okay, very good. Let's go back in the Gemara. The next piece of Gemara has nothing to do with Eruvin. It's just the Yedias, very, very interesting Yedias. It's a Gemara we had a few times. We just recently had it in Masech the Brachas. It appears a few times in Shas. Okay. Says Omer Rav Chia bar Rashi, says Rav Chia bar Rashi, the following statement. It makes this. Yeah.
Is an amma a finite measurement? And the question is how many tvachim?
An amma is the question is like this. Here's the Torah. An amma is made of tefachim. An amma is made of tefachim, and tefachim are made of its voice. Good. Okay. How big an amma is? There's machlokes between Rav Chaim Noah, between Rav Chazon Ish and Rav Moshe. The extreme shita is it's close to 2 feet. The other is about 1.5 feet. That's a base. That's be'erech. That's what it is. Now. The question is, were they mesupik? What it was it 5 tefach or 6 tefach? Or it wasn't mesupik, it was a halacha azoi, that this is it. There are 2 measurements, and sometimes you use one, sometimes you use the other. That's the chakira. And we're going to see a Gemara Pesachim. They had measuring sticks, see, on top of the shard that was called Shushan Abira. It was called Shushan Abira because Kairish let them rebuild the base of Mikdash. And they used the sticks for different things, for measuring different things. And that's what Nama is. Again, stam a person is 3 amas. They say stam a person is 3 amas. Say an average person is 3 amas.
The shaila with the fingers is what the tefach is, and the question is how many tvachim go into that.
Correct. Okay, again, and sometimes we're using sometimes loose, sometimes not. Now, Omer Rav Chia bar Rashi, Omer Rav, Shiurin, the Shiurin of the Torah, any share of the Torah, chatzitzin, the halachas of chatzitza of the Torah, umechitzin, and the halacha of mechitzin in the Torah, halacha mashmi Sinai. All these are halacha mashmi Sinai. There's no biblical source. They were all Messiahs in Sinai. That's what the Gemara says. Fred the Gemara, how could you say that? Shiurim deraisa. Shiurim are din deraisa. Dichsiv. It says Eretz Chita Sa'ira, Gefen Useina V'Rimoin Eitz Zayis Shemen V'Damash. Again, these are the 7 peiros that of Eretz Yisrael is Nishbach, that we praise Eretz Yisrael, right? Ches Ches, Devarim Ches Ches, Pasuk Ches. And in these things, we're going to see each one represents a share. So that's a pasuk in the Torah. It's not a halacha mashmi Sinai. I'm going to go through each fruit, and each fruit has a representation of a share. Guys, fascinating. Listen to this. All this pasuk is said l'shiurim. It's said to go ahead and allude to shiurim. Chita. What does chita allude to? The chitatnan from Mefurish Mishnah in the Goyim. Now, a person who, we know there's tsaras in a person, we know there's tsaras in a beged, and there's also tsaras in a house. What's the halach if a person walks into a house that has tsaras in it? So hanichlis the beis hamanuga, the kela of al kseifav, he's carrying his clothing. Usandalav tabasav biyadai, he's holding onto his shoes and rings. He's not wearing them. He's holding them. So he's not wearing derech levush. He's not wearing them. He's holding them. Hu v'hem tmei miyad. They are him and tummy right away, as it says for haboyel abayis. The pasuk says anyone who comes into the house is tummy. Similar to oil ames, you walk into the house, you're tummy. If you're holding on to these things, you are tummy and they are tummy immediately. Question: what happens if you're wearing your clothing and your rings and your shoes? Right? So then there's a different halacha. If he's wearing his clothing and the shoes are on his feet and his rings are on his fingers, here's the following halacha. Hu tamei miyad. There's no difference. He's tamei right away. Ve'hein tahirim ad sheyisha b'chtei achilas pras. They are tahar as long as he doesn't delay in the house the time it takes to eat a half a loaf of bread. What type of bread are we speaking about? Paschitin, bread of wheat, which is easier to digest and eat. And not barley bread, which is much harder. So the share of the zman that it would take you to eat a half a loaf of barley bread, of wheat bread, mesiv while you're inclined for oichel belifton and eating with some type of dip, maybe some hummus or something. That's the share of your kaling being tahar until you wait that zman. So chita teaches me that halacha. So again, you're telling me it's halacha l'moshe Sinai. We see chita is really midaraisa. It's in the Torah. Sa'ira. What do we learn from the din of sa'ira? Ditnan. Etzem kiksaira. We know that a mace is the most tummy-dick thing in the world. We know that it is an Eruvin with a mace, viastamin a mace, the matama, bimaga, bimasa, uba-oil. How do you know an etzem, the shear of a bone, that's matama, bimaga, ubimasa, not the oil, because it's not an aver. An aver consists of basar, etzem, vehidim. Says the Gemara. Etzem kisayir matama, bimaga, bimasa, the aina matama, ba-oil. So you see, that's the shear of etzem kisora. So from chita we learned barley bread, wheat bread, and from sa'ira we learned the shear of a mace. Gefen kedei revias yain l'nasir, the shear that if the revias yain l'nasir, that he goes ahead. Places explains if you take this and an amount of the olive of the grape and you put it in wine and it displaces that amount, that's the amount he's going to be chayav for. Te'ena, okay, that's kigroigris l'haitzi Shabbos. So listen, if you don't know this by now, the shear of achila by tzah by Shabbos is what? Is a greigris. So and a greigris is a dried fig. A tein is a fig. So from chita we learn out. From chita we learn out the shear it takes to stay in the house of the mitzayra. From sa'ira we're going to learn the shear of etzem kisayra by mace, and by gefen we're going to learn what? The shear by nazir. Rimoin kidet nan kol kli balabatim shiurim kirimoinim. If you have a kli that's tamei, what's the shear that you have to go ahead to mevatel the kli? So if it's the keli of an umin who's selling it, it's a small hole. But if it's the kli of a balabayas, he's going to use it up to the point where a rimon will fall out. Up until that point, it has a shear, it'll be makabel tuma, because he'll put things in it. Once it gets the size of a hole of a rimon falling out, then the shear, it'll be tahar because it loses its shame kli. So Memela, that's the halacha I learned from Rimon. How do I learn from Eretz says Shemen, Eretz Shekol Shirav Kizaysim? The Eretz that all the Shiurim are like Zaysim. Fred the Gemara, I mean, guys, this is the Kazayas, right? Fred the Gemara, Kol Shirav Sakadaitach, Vikahani Damar. What do you mean all the Shiurim? You just gave me the share of a Gregorus, you gave me the share of a Sa'ira, you gave me the share, you gave me a bunch of Shiurim that have nothing to do with what? With the Zayas. Says, answer the Gemara, Ela Ema Eretz Sheroiv Shirav Kazaysim. Most of the Shiurim Kazaysim. The share of Chalev, the share of Nevela, the share of Noiser, the share of Pigel, or any share of Achila, with the exception of Yom Kippur, is the share wad of Azayah. So it says the share of Roiv, the majority of Dvar Achila, the share of the Kazayas. Devash, now Devash does not mean, guys, bee honey. Devash means date honey. Devash means date honey. So now, what's the share of date honey? Kikaisevis, I got some Yom Kippur. We know Yom Kippur, you're not Chayiv Karis, the Achilas Yom Kippur, unless you had to eat the share of a kaiseves, right, with its garin, with pit, right? So therefore, that's the share over there. So Gemara asks the kasha, why do you tell me that shiurim are lach l'mash misinai? Shiurim are in the pasuk of hita soira gefen zayis. That's in that pasuk. After the Gemara, 1 second. Ketizbra shiurim nichtav ksivi. Guys, when you read the pasuk, did you read chita? Oh, when you go to the house of a Mitzvah, it's got to be the pot. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, that's the way you read it. Gregorus said, 1 second. Hilchah Shabbos, the Taina. You don't read it that way. Elamah, Ela Hilchah Saninu. They're all Allah Chamash Misina, like we stated. Ve'esmachinu Rabbanan Akroi, and the Rabbanan found an allusion to it, a smack to it in the Torah. So we don't derive the halacha from this pasuk. We have the halacha alluded to in this pasuk. Halacha is from the halacha of Moshe Sinai. In this pasuk is the allusion. So far he's held serve. So Ira definitely, Shiurim is definitely a halacha of Moshe Sinai. He said 2 more things. He said chatzitzin and mechitzai. So halacha of Moshe Sinai. Fred the Gemara, chatzitzin deraisa. Chatzitzin are deraisa. The halacha of chatzitzin is deraisa. The chsiv, the pasuk says, well, I'm going to change the gersa. The rochatz b'mayim is called b'sarai, and it'll wash in water all his basar. What does that mean? It's vayikra tezvav tezayin. It means shelo yehei bava chaytzes bein b'sarai. It says the rochatz b'mayim is called b'sarai, meaning you should wash your flesh, and nothing should be interposed between your flesh and the water. So it's not halacha l'moshe misinai, and this is open in the pasuk, guys. This is open in the pasuk. This is not halacha l'moshe misinai. B'mayim, it says v'rochatz b'mayim kol b'sari. Why do we go from the pasuk b'mayim? The main mikvah. You should go ahead and wash. The mitzvah goes in the main mikvah, guys, as opposed to, let's say, a zav or a paraduma where you need the mayim chayim. You need the flowing water. Kol b'sari, mayim shekol gufay oila behen. The amount that will cover his whole body. The Kamahain, we just said the other night, right? Ama, Lama, Baroiv, Gimel. For 1 by 1 and the height of 3. Amos. B'shiru chachamim mei mikvah memsa. So the chayr fellas, how can you tell me that what? That chatzitzin is Allah Chamash Misinai. The chayr, it's a mafurish pasuk in the Torah. And for the Gemara, ki etzrech hilchasa l'sa'arai. You need the Allah Chamash Misinai to tell me there's a din of chatzitz in here. There's a din of chatzitz in here. Uchid Rabbi Bar Huna, like Rabbi Bar Huna. Dama Rabbi Bar Huna, Nima Achas Kishura Chetzetzes. 1 here will be a chatzitza. Shalosha Eni Chetzetzes. 3 not. Shtayim Eni Yadeya. Guys, if you take 1 here, you make a knot, you can go ahead and make it very tight. And the water will not be able to get in that knot, because 1 here knots well. If you take 3 hairs, put them together and knot them, that's very loose, and that's not a chatzitza. 2, we don't know what the halacha is, but that's the halacha of Moshe Sinai, that there is a din of chatzitza by here. The din of chatzitza is not going on the body. That's a pasuk. When he said that, the Rabbi said that's the halacha of Moshe Sinai. It's going on the person's hair. That here is considered a chatzitza by tefillah. Good. Here is considered chatzitza by tefillah. That's what it said by here. It said dafka by here. Now says the Gemara. 1 second. You're not going to go scot free. Sorry, nami deraisahu. So is also the rice. The Tanya. It says v'rochatz es kol b'sarai, and it should wash all his flesh. This is the plastic that they quoted above that we took out. V'rochatz es kol b'sarai. What does es kol b'sarai mean? Es hatafel b'saro. That's ancillary to his body, guys. What's ancillary to your body? Zeuseya. That's your hair. So you see that you have to wash all the hair and not a chatzitza. And for the Gemara, ki osi hilchasa, the halacha comes to teach me the following: lerubai ulemeutai ulemakbid. Okay, outside. When we think of a chatzitza, we think of simply you have something on your hand. There it is. Anything that's on your hand. You have a band-aid. You have any piece of schmutz. Anything on your hand is chatzitza. Really, according to the Daraisa Gedin, you need two components to be a chatzitza. One, it's majority. Two, makbid. It shows you that. In other words, if the guy is a garbage man, what's a chatzitza for you, for him is a medal. He's like, that's part of it, right? There's a certain level of given people. So it's vensich. It depends upon the person and depends upon the amount. That's midaraisa. Midrabanan de geyser, what? The geyser ruboy ve'enai makbid, right? Miut umakbid, In other words, you're playing off both, right? You're playing off both. So now that's the halacha mashmisina. Says the Gemara, the Tanya, v'rochetz is called b'sarai, es atafel b'sarai, v'zeu seir, kiyasi hilchasa l'ruboy l'miyutai. Ulemakbid, uleshay makbid, uchrav yitzchak. Don't Rabbi Yitzchak. Devar Torah means Allah l'mash misinai. Devar Torah Allah l'mash misinai. Ruboy umakbid of chaytzis. It has those two components. It's roiv and your makbid. It's a chatzitza. Ushe'ena makbid alav, ena chaytzis. And also, if it's a miyut, it's not chaytzis. Guys, you're missing those two things: miyut and ena ruboy and ena makbid. V'gazrei al ruboy she'ena makbid. But based on roiv and not makbid, mishum rubo makbid. The al miyuto makbid, mishum rubo hamakbid. We're going to them. So therefore, that's the lacha mash misina. Furthermore, v'ligzer nami al miyuto she'ena makbid. Let's be geyser on here ena makbid. Says mishum miyut makbid. I should be geyser miyut she'ena makbid otam miyut makbid. Says inami mishum roiv rubo she'ena makbid. Says he gufa gezera rubo she'ena makbid and miyut she'makbid is a gezera. But no, nekem nix a gezera. So therefore, I use the halacha mash b'sinai that tells this halacha of roiv, and is that's halacha mash b'sinai. V'nachanami din chatzitza is the rice. Final din is mechitza. We said now, what's tama mechitza? We learned in the Masech Shabbos in the beginning, 10 tfachim. A sukkah, 10 tfachim, right? Minimal share of a sukkah, 10 tfachim. Minimal share of a mavoi, 10 tfachim. Walls set up Mishus Rabin to be mafsik, 10 tfachim. 10 tfachim. Where do you get that from? That's a Shem Mechitza, okay? Halacha Mesh Misina. Fred the Gemara, great question. Okay, now, the Chitza is the Raisa in it. How can you tell me that the Chitza is Halacha Mesh Misina? It's the Raisa. The Amamar, Orain Tisha, the Orain was 9 what? 9 Tfachim. The Orain was 9 Tfachim. How do you figure? How many Tfachim? Chaim, when you're there, this is again. How many tefachim in an amma? 6, right? How tall was the aron? 1.5 amas. That's 9, right? 1.5. 6 times 1.5 is 9. Good. So the aron was now tefach. The kapor is tefach. The covering of the aron was another tefach. So 9 and 1 is 10. Now the Gemara here is really missing it. This is the Gemara in Sukkah. You may remember this from Sukkah. Kadosh Baruch Hu comes down and he sits on the Kapiris, but he goes to Aretz, the son of Neyadam. So he's not going to come down to the Aretz. So if he's above the Arin, and it's Arin's 10 tefachim high, you see that what? It's 2 different Velta. So you see that we're learning out that it's 2 different worlds. That 10 tefachim mechitza is the din mechitza. So that works out well if you hold that the share of the Amma is a tefach. 6 tefachim. What happens if the share is 5 tefachim? So then you 5 times 1.5 is going to give you 7.5. With 1 for the kaparis, it's going to give you 8.5. So you don't know it. Okay, so says the Gemara. Let's see inside. Says the Gemara. Mechitza the rice ninu damamar orin tisha. The orin was about 9 tefachim, 6 times 1.5. The kapar is tefach. Harikana Sarah, that gives you a total of 10. So therefore, it's written openly that what? That it's the Raisa. So l'chayr, what are you telling me? Mechitza halacha Mishnah. I said, and for the Gemara, like tzricha, I need halacha Mishnah el Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar Amos binyan ba'ama bash shisha. The Amos of the building itself, Chaim Klagsburn was 6. Kalem ba'amas bach chamesha. Chaim Klagsburn, right? The binyan of the actual building was 6 tefachim, but the Kalem were 5 tefachim. So if the Kalem were 5 tefachim, 5 times 1.5 is 7.5. One for the papyrus, they'll give you 8.5. So you don't have the din of mechitza. So for that, I need a lachamesh b'sinai. Tell me there's a mechitza. Says the Gemara. U'Rameya the Amar kol amis haya beinanis, that each one was beinanis. Ma'yik lemeimar. So and late Reb Meir who says they were all beinanis. Now beinanis is a 6. Says, so what's the lachamesh b'sinai come to teach me? Bishlem le Reb Yehuda, who says 8.5 and you don't have a source. It's come to teach me din of mechitza is 10 tvachim. But according to guys, I have a halacha Moshe Sinai telling me that what halacha Moshe Sinai by mechitza. It's good. We learned that the halacha Moshe Sinai is that the din of mechitza is 10 tefachim. Like Reb Meir, I don't need the halacha Moshe Sinai to tell me that. I know that from simple mathematics. Since I hold that the tefach is the amma is 6 tefachim, I know 6 times 1.5 is 9, and 1 for the papyrus is 10. So I have the 10. So what's the halacha Moshe Sinai mechitza like him? Oh, very geschmack. And for the Gemara, I'll tell you. L'Rebeya ki asa hilchasa legud ulelavud uledayfen akuma. We're going to see throughout Masechta Eruvin, guys, these 3 concepts. 1 in Sukkah, 2 by us. Good achis and good asik. Whether we'll view as a wall going up or going down, imaginary. That's halacha Moshe Sinai. The din of lavud, if something's within 3 tefachim of each other, we'll consider it closed. It could be 3 tefachim in the ground. It could be ropes like this. We'll go ahead and consider this closed if they're within 3 tefachim of each other. That halacha of lavud is halacha Moshe Sinai. Okay, so let's chazah tonight. Let's see what we saw tonight. We saw machloikis between Abaya and Rav Nachman and Rava Rav Nachman. Later, Abaya and Rav Nachman, we had 2 separate amis. One of 5 tefachim, one of 6 tefachim. Like Rava, we only had 1, 6 tefachim. However, those 6 tefachim, one of them was sheicha kois, which was loose, and one was savus, was tight. We said Abaya disagrees with Shimon Gamliel, and Rava agrees with Shimon Gamliel. So Shimon Gamliel was coming to explain the Tanakama. That what? When do we say 6 tight? That's anything but kalayim. Kalayim needs 6 loose. That's what he said. Then we had Rav Chia's din. Said Rav Chia Varashi, an interesting din in the name of Rav, that there's 3 halachas of Moshe Sinai. The halacha Moshe Sinai regarding shiurim, chatzis, and mechitzas. We asked by shiurim from the pasuk of all the fruit. We answered up that no, the halacha Moshe Sinai is every single halacha we said there, and the fruit was just what? Was just an allusion to it. So just going over quickly, the chita was what? Was the din of barley bread? Not barley, I keep on saying barley bread. The din of bread for the house of Mitzrayah. Soira was the din in a mace. Geffen was a din in a nazia. Riman was a din in the keli of a balabayas. Zayas was a din in kala tarakula. Roiv is zaysim. Kasevis was Yom Kippur, and those are the different shiurim. Then we went ahead. He asked the question: how can you tell me chatzitz is halacha Moshe Sinai? We said it's not. It's a pasuk. We said the halacha of roiv and makbid is halacha Moshe Sinai. Where do we get that from? That roiv and makbid. And finally, we said the din of chatzitza, the din of mechitza. We said the din of mechitza, like the Tanakh, like Rabbi Yehuda, who does not have a shear. He only has a 5 tefach. 5 times 1.5 will be 7.5 plus 8. So the din of halacha Moshe is telling you the mechitza is he can't learn from the oren because the oren is only 8.5. The din of halacha Moshe is to tell me 10. And according to Rabbi, who has the oren teach me 10, he uses it for good achis, good asik, and lavud and daifin akuma. Tomorrow, Bez Hashem, we will learn at 4:30. Tomorrow, Bez Hashem, 4:30 on Zoom only. Thank you, everyone, for coming to listen.